As we continued along the narrow strip of the DRC, that thin passage of land pressed between the two parts of Angola, the landscape shifted, but the history only grew deeper. In Boma, echoes of the past linger in every corner, a former colonial capital tied to the journeys of explorers, like Henry Stanley, whose footsteps shaped the stories of this region. Walking through these streets, you feel the weight of time, layers of cultures, conflicts, and resilience woven together. And then, after days of winding roads, the horizon opens, and the Atlantic greets us once more. And here's how it went. Good morning, guys. It is our second full day here in the DRC, and last night, even though the evening was like this beautiful sunset and this beautiful camp spot, it ended up raining on us last night and my tent like flooded, everything was wet, and we are officially entering the rainy season of West Africa, and it is going to be pretty rough, not gonna lie. That was a rough night's sleep, and again, just everything is wet, everything is sticky, everything is smelly. And as you can see this morning, it's still like really foggy, but anyways, that's what we signed up for. So we have about 70 kilometers this morning to Boma, which is another little town on the Congo River. So we're gonna be working our way towards Boma, and then we'll spend a couple hours there exploring a few of the sites along the Congo River there on our second full day here in the Democratic Republic of Congo. So yeah, let's load up the truck and get going. Misty morning driving through the countryside of the DRC. We are hitting our second main city, Boma, and we are just entering the outskirts of the city here. So we're starting to see a little bit more of the urbanization here. And again, riding on top of the truck, looking at all of the markets and little shops and all of the little houses and stuff that are built up into the hills of Boma as we're entering the city here. Guys, we have just entered the city of Boma here, and once again we are entering in a crazy, chaotic market. It reminds me of the market we did yesterday, but loud, crazy, colorful. So yeah, check this out. Market wasn't as big and crazy as yesterday, and people seemed a little more friendly in that market, but still just a crazy, chaotic place trying to drive our truck through that. So yeah, let's head into Boma a little bit more here. have driven through the crazy main part of Boma there, through the market area, and we have come down towards the Congo River where we have another like big shipping area, and this is the city of Boma, and Boma was once the capital of Congo before it was shifted over to Kinshasa. And there's just a few small things that we're going to check out here in Boma. One is the big baobab tree where Stanley, who was looking for Livingston, ended his cross-Africa trek here in Boma. So there's a legend that he slept in this baobab tree after trekking all the way across Africa and finishing here in the Congo River. So yeah, let's head in and check out the baobab tree. Just come in the baobab tree. There's a little hole, and again, the legend is that Stanley, once he finished his trek across Africa, this is where he spent a couple nights as he waited along the Congo River here. Just climbed that rickety ladder and I am up in the baobab tree, and this is pretty amazing. You have a lot of like names throughout the years that are carved into it, and legend has it that one of these carvings was by Stanley himself. And then from up on top of the baobab tree, you can kind of see through to the Congo River a little bit, but again, the port is right in the way, so you're mostly seeing these colorful shipping containers. But yeah, pretty cool that you can climb up into this giant baobab tree. This thing must be like 1,000 or so years old. In Boma, there's another site that we want to see. There's like an old Belgian church that's in this old capital of the Congo here. We have just come up the road from the baobab Stanley, from the river there, and we are in front of the first cathedral of the Congo, and this was a prefabricated church that was shipped over from Belgium in 1890. So it's made completely of metal here. It's a pretty tiny church, but right next to it we have a more modern like brick cathedral, and this is also a pretty cool piece of architecture, this beautiful like tall clock tower, and we're kind of on these hills, so you're overlooking the city of Boma here on all of these rolling hills. And yeah, so let's head in and check out the first church of the Congo. So just went into the oldest church in Congo there, and there's honestly like not too much to see. It's not really utilized as a church anymore. It's almost a bit of like a storage area there. But again, interesting to see the inside of this church that's like over 130 years old, and again, completely made of metal. And then from the church like courtyard here, we just are elevated a little bit on this hill, so we have some really nice views of the hills of Boma here. You're looking right over some of the streets of Boma, and then off above some of those houses there you can see the meandering Congo River. Anyways, that's about it for Boma. There's not like a whole lot to see or do here, but we're going to continue working our way west on the Democratic Republic of Congo and eventually working our way up to Cabinda. But there is one more town I think we're going to either like stop in or drive through tomorrow called Mwande. But tonight we're probably going to just work our way halfway to Mwande and find somewhere to bush camp and then check out that tomorrow. But again, one of the best parts of the DRC here is just driving on the top of the truck and getting yeah, let's head back in the truck and keep carrying on. We are almost to Mwanda, which is the city on the coast of the DRC here, and we are stopping in this little village, and we are buying some firewood from the local ladies here in the village to use for cooking and for boiling our water at camps. So yeah, pretty cool to just stop in a little village here in the DRC. That was pretty cool to just stop in this little village in the DRC. That's something that we don't really get to do too much, is just stop in these villages. Usually we're just driving through, but really friendly ladies here. We bought a bunch of wood from them for our fires, and then we're probably about half an hour or so to Mwanda, which will be our lunch stop for the day. We have just driven down that main road that goes straight through Mwanda there. There was a little bit of a market, but not nearly as crazy and chaotic as the other DRC cities that we've been checking out the last couple days. And we have finally made it to the Atlantic Ocean of the DRC. And it's not like the most beautiful or scenic beach. The water is actually quite brown, not the most appealing water here, but you have this very long strip of coastline here that's really pretty. And then it looks like right along here we have a couple hotels, a couple restaurants that we're going to be checking out on our last stop here in the DRC. And so I think I'm going to wrap up our DRC video here. I know it was pretty short, only a couple stops, only a couple days, but again, it's just a very small strip that we went through here in between the two parts of Angola. And so later this afternoon or tomorrow, we're gonna eventually head back into Angola and check out the Cabinda enclave of Angola there and see what that's all about before heading into the other Congo and checking that out, which we'll see a lot more of because we'll eventually head to the capital there. But yeah, very quick little country here. Most of our time here in the DRC was just kind of like driving through all of these mountain villages of the Democratic Republic here and seeing a lot of the country from the road, some of the rolling green hills, some of the small villages. And yeah, it was interesting to see, again, very aggressive and like very lively and quite densely populated in a lot of those cities, but very interesting driving through the markets, being on the top of the truck there and checking that out. So anyways, yeah, that's it for the DRC. I'll see you guys next time when we explore more of Angola in the Cabinda Strip there.